Hello participants, welcome to the first unit of speaking and listening. This unit has 4 modules, 3 on developing speaking skill and 1 on listening. Apart from the script of the lecture, you have worksheets that have learning items and activities. You will need to download the worksheets and do the exercises so that you get enough practice. In this module of speaking, we take the basic component of monologues. Monologues are speeches where one person speaks in short or at length, perhaps in response to a question asked or to convey a message on one's own. All of us will agree to the importance of speaking in our everyday life, for academic activities, office work, or other transactions. Good speaking in many ways contributes to our success. In that case, what do we keep in mind to speak well? Remember, the speech message which is being produced has to be received, understood, and acted upon. So we think of the people who we are speaking to, that is, the audience. What we are speaking about, the topic. These two actually decide the how, the tone, and the manner of speaking. Our audience and topic also determine the formal or informal ways in which we speak. You will be able to understand these much better as we go along. But please remember, speaking clearly or speaking well does not mean acquiring a British or an American accent or speaking in a high-flown language. It is best to be natural and sincere in a manner that your listener can understand you. So let us start working on our spoken English. Once you complete this module, you will be able to introduce yourself, introduce other people, a dignitary or a guest, or a friend. You will be able to describe a place and narrate a life experience. Do look at worksheet 1 for a detailed listing of module objectives. Now we start with monologue 1. Please listen to this self-introduction. Pay attention to the ways in which I am organizing the information about myself. Good morning. I am Madhumita Sinha. I work as a university teacher in Hyderabad, in the same university where I studied. Apart from English language and literature, I also offer courses in education and gender studies. I'm from Kolkata. My parents were both teachers and have retired from their jobs now. I'm the youngest one of 3 children and only I have followed my parents' career. My brother and sister are both doctors and work in different cities. My dream is to travel to the whole world, particularly to be able to visit Antarctica. Friends, if you notice, this formal introduction included personal details and touched upon topics like name, job, education, family, and my dream. Take a look at worksheet 1. Learn 1.1 to be able to use contracted forms and some structures that we avoid in speaking. After this, please do task 1.2. Here I have given you some pointers to practice introducing yourself. Now you are ready for task 1.3. This helps you practice a slightly different kind of self-introduction. Under Learn 1.4, you will notice I've given you a website to practice many possible opening sentences for self-introduction. Now we move to monologue 2. This is an introduction of a friend in an informal way. Hey folks, meet Anita, my childhood friend. We were classmates all through in Kochi. Now she is studying architecture in Ahmedabad. She has come to visit me over this long weekend. So here, for an introduction, we are addressing the audience who can be classmates, friends, colleagues, or any other people. In a very informal way, we are talking to them. Go to worksheet again and follow Learn 1.5. Then do task 1.6, where you will informally introduce a person. Now we move to monologue 3, which is introducing a dignitary in a formal way. Good morning, friends. Today is a special day. We have Dr. Veena Prasad, a renowned scientist, with us. I am truly honored to welcome her on behalf of the university. Now let me briefly introduce Dr. Prasad. She is a trained doctor and a senior scientist in Telangana State Research Center in Hyderabad. Dr. Veena Prasad is also a professor in King's Medical College in Hyderabad. Dr. Prasad did her MBBS from SMC Vellore and pursued her master's degree from England. She received a fellowship to study in the United States, where she worked on community medicine for her PhD. Choosing not to spend a major part of her life in laboratory, she started field studies once she came back to India and worked on tropical diseases at a large scale. She has many path-breaking findings on the subject. With her rich expertise, she is the most suitable person to speak to us about health issues that have become a matter of great concern due to COVID pandemic. We can see many repercussions of this pandemic for our physical and mental health. So, the topic for today's talk is repercussions of COVID pandemic and health issues for the youth. Once again, I extend a very warm welcome to you and thank you so much for agreeing to give us a talk, Dr. Prasad. Now, if you notice, this introduction is slightly different from the earlier one where we introduced a friend. It is formal and structured because it is for a distinct program in a university with a special guest as an invitee. Please remember, you need to have the correct bibliographical details of the speaker and you should speak in a respectful and pleasant manner. Let us go to Learn 1.7 and see what we have included there. And then please do task 1.8 where you introduce a writer to your class. Now, monologue 4. Description of a place. Let us understand the term description. This is an integral part of language transactions. Describing means you need to provide facts and details of a place, person, object, or event. Of course, you select certain features and leave out others, but these should be true, acceptable information for the audience. We will also follow up description in greater detail in the second module, which is on listening. My favorite city is Hyderabad, the capital of Telangana state. The city was founded by Quli Qutub Shah and is more than 400 years old. This historical city was later ruled by Asaf Jahi dynasty, and the rulers were known as Nizams. The Charminar is the most famous icon of the city. The other popular monuments are Golconda Fort, Salar Jung Museum, the Buddha statue in the middle of Hussain Sagar Lake, Birla Temple, etc. This city of business and affluence still is a major commercial hub and has modernized with good means of transportation within and around the city. It is a big center for software and pharmaceutical industry and is also home to many educational and research centers. Hyderabadi biryani is famous in the country, and so are Hyderabadi pearls. The blend of historical heritage and modern facilities makes it a very comfortable city to live in. I am very proud of my city. This is a description of a place with some details to bring out its historical and modern character. You can provide details of your favorite town with some important information organized carefully. Now go to learn 1.9 of the worksheet and look at the clues provided, and then do task 1.10. While moving to task 1.11, we are staying with the description of a place, but now it has to be your house or your flat. Let us see how we can speak of the same city, Hyderabad, while combining it with the narrative of a personal experience. Yesterday, I was stuck in traffic jams for more than 3 hours. How Hyderabad has changed is unbelievable. I came to this city 20 years back when it had good roads lined with trees and footpaths. We had a good public transport system which seemed sufficient for all. Now the city has grown 5 times in area, and so has the number of residents of the city. Now we have much broader roads, many flyovers, underbridges, but they are all ever congested. Particularly during the rainy season, due to waterlogging, everywhere the situation gets far worse. If you are at home in your locality, life is good. The moment you step out on the road, you can face severe jams and never be sure of your timing. I am a witness to Hyderabad turning into a traffic nightmare. What kind of a monologue was this? As you can see, this also described the city, but it had a personal experience coming in. This gave a subjective quality to the monologue, as it had a person's understanding of the city based on an event. Go to task 1.12 now, which is based on the same lines. Now we move to the next part, which is another monologue, but now we are going to narrate an event. Moving ahead, we are going to speak of a memorable personal experience, my convocation day. First, let us see how this story is narrated. 10th March 2019 was one of the most special days of my life, as this was the long-awaited day of my convocation after I completed my MBA. Since I got up at 6:30 a.m., I was restless. I barely managed to do my morning chores and eat my breakfast. Therefore, I decided to get ready and leave for the university, as I could not wait at home. When I reached the campus around 10 a.m., I realized what a grand occasion it was. The gate was decorated with flowers and buntings, and there were banners welcoming the guests. Though the ceremony was to start at 11 o'clock, for me it seemed like a long wait. Dressed in my special clothes, I reached the auditorium, which already had many teachers and some of my classmates who were to receive the graduation certificate like me. The hall was also beautifully adorned with flowers and pictures. I felt overwhelmed when I was welcomed by my teachers and was requested to take a seat. Soon enough, the hall filled up with other students, teachers, parents, and guests. After a while, the principal walked in with the governor of the state and other eminent invitees. Subsequently, there was a welcome address, and then started the main event of distributing certificates. When I started walking after my name was called, I knew all eyes were focused on me, and I could hear the claps and cheers. I was in a daze. I took my certificate from the governor and also 2 medals for highest scores in business communication and management ethics. The governor congratulated me and asked me to keep up the good performance. I truly felt overwhelmed, and as I looked at the audience, I saw my parents and friends waving at me frantically with joy. But as I started walking down the stage, my moment was suddenly over. Not really. When I reached home after the ceremony, the house was abuzz with activities, and there was a shamiana too in the lawn. It was then I realized that my parents had organized a small party to celebrate my graduation. I felt very emotional and thankful to my parents and my sister for making this a doubly special day. Once again, I was the star. I am sure you have noticed that talking about a life experience is almost like telling a story. Involves emotions, requires dramatization. What do you think of the difference between description and narration? Note down the differences in the use of language and content. Go to Learn 1.13 and carefully read the points that will help you prepare to narrate a life experience. Then go to Learn 1.14 and check out the website to further understand the difference between description and narration. With this, we have completed Module 1 and we have managed to practice monologues covering topics including introducing oneself, introducing others, and describing a place, also providing narration of a life experience. Hopefully, you will be able to practice these topics and will be able to perform these language functions confidently now. Bye. See you in the next module.